you played a huge role in the Aragalaya, and I personally think that before the Aragalaya, not many people dared to challenge their leaders because they were probably scared of the consequences.
I really believe that we need to go through some sort of a aragalaya to change people,
A revolution.
a revolution. Because without realizing your own political power, without identifying your own strength as voters, you will never challenge the system. So we brought up a nice aragalaya which was non-violent, peaceful, and we achieved the target in 100 days. Rajapaksas are gone. They are not even contesting the election, right? The system was broken sufficiently enough for the new leaders can emerge. So the next thing is you need to build the next system. You say you don't want 225, okay, you create new 225, right? So you don't like the old system, you have to create the new system. So you need people who can lead the nation to create the new system. A system change is, we can change the old system, you can create a bad new system. That has happened in certain other countries. Some countries has fallen into terrorism, some are still in civil war.
So it's not just about putting new faces or new people, but about putting those who can actually bring about good change.
They should look at these new faces and see who are the achievers, what these people have achieved in their life. Have they successfully at least run a business, organize something successfully other than just staying in politics or scolding other politicians in the stages, right? Not organizing protests, They should not do something destructive, but something creative.
Welcome everyone, you're watching another episode of Conversations with Alanki. The guest on my show today is Pathum Kerner. He will be contesting the general elections from Colombo district under the United Democratic Voice. He rose to prominence during the Aragalaya, which steered much needed change within Sri Lanka's political system. Pathum is an MBBS doctor qualified from Colombo Medical Faculty and a member of Royal College of Surgeons of UK. He has worked for 10 years as a doctor in Singapore, and soon after completing medical school, he joined the army as a lieutenant during the last phase of the war and treated many war heroes. He has since been involved in several social service projects. So, as we begin this conversation, I am keen to know more about him, his views, his policies, and just to know what he plans to do and how he plans to do things differently. Welcome.
Thank you, Alanki.
Thank you for being a part of this conversation. Now, firstly, before we begin speaking about activism and Aragalaya and more about politics, tell me, why did you decide to get into politics?
Well, this is a career transformation that happened when I was in Singapore. So I went to Singapore in 2010, then started working there as a doctor. Then I started my career as a spine surgeon. I was a wannabe.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to, travel the world to get my medical training, surgical training done. Then one day I was thinking in somewhere around 2014-15, so I could read that the country is going into some sort of political crisis in future. Mm-hmm. And then I had some, the political thoughts coming into my mind. And then I had some calculation done. Let's say if I had to put my heart and soul for 10 years to become a spine surgeon in Singapore. So if I become one, till I retire, I'll be operating around 50 patients. Mm-hmm. So I thought, rather than operating 50 spines in my life, so I thought I need something bigger to do. Mm-hmm. Also, I had a dream. So I was looking for something bigger. Then I thought of, okay, I need to reforest a land and create a forest, new forest for Sri Lanka. Then I started planting trees. So that's where the green spine reforestation program was born. Then I continued to plant trees and I realized, okay, this is not going to be the one I wanted to do. Then I wanted to do even bigger things. Then I realized, okay, so I need to get into politics. I need to change this country. I need to make this country something like a developed country, which I have visited and seen. So that's where this transformation began. Then from my medical career, I started slowly changing it into a political career. I gave up medicine and started learning politics. So here I am.
All right, like before now you rose to prominence during the Aragalaya. However, before we speak about the Aragalaya and the activism and the part you played in it, could you take us back? Tell me about your childhood. What were your early years like?
My parents are coming from different parts of the country. My father actually a burger man. He was from Navalapitiya. Then mother was born in Kalaniya, and she's a Sinhala Buddhist woman. So they got married, and I have one sister and one brother, and I'm the youngest one. My father died of some sickness when I was 6. Then we had a lot of difficult time in the early childhood. We were quite poor, and then my mother didn't give up. She continued to work hard, and even she worked as a cleaner somewhere in the hospital. And even I wrote a book about this part of my life. And then so we had a very difficult time, but it continued to improve day by day because of the effort of my mom and then my sister and then my brother. Then I went to a small school in somewhere in Kalaniya called Vedamulla Mahavidyalaya, and I did my O levels there, and I got 5 Ds and 3 Cs. It was probably the best result at that time. And for some fortunate reason, the Colombo Nalanda got me to do biology. Then I got very good teachers there, and I didn't even go to tuitions for chemistry and physics because my teachers were quite good. And then I managed to get best result for biology in Nalanda in 2001. Then I entered to the medical school. So my childhood was like, I think it's a very playful and happy period. I don't really think that, I have nothing to say that I was had a very bad childhood. And saying
Right.
that I was happy, I was playing around, and I was had a good support from my family. I don't still miss my father because my mother take care of that part as well. I had a happy childhood, I would say.
All right. So, Pathum, let's speak about the impact of the Aragalaya. Now, you played a huge role in the Aragalaya, and I personally think that before the Aragalaya, not many people dared to challenge their leaders because they were probably scared of the consequences. Do you think that your fight in the Aragalaya was instrumental in bringing about change?
Obviously.
Mm.
So usually I divide Aragalaya into 3 phases. So
Right.
you can say pre-Aragalaya, the Aragalaya period, and the post-Aragalaya period. So we when I entered into politics by studying this, I really believe that we need to go through some sort of a Aragalaya to change people,
A revolution.
a revolution.
Mhm.
Because without realizing your own political power, without identifying your own strength as voters, you will never challenge the system. Because we were, we had a feudal system. From feudal man, we changed into some sort of the British Empire until we had this something called colonialism, the colonial period, and everybody was extracting things from us. We call the corrupt. It's an extractive political system, I would
Mhm.
say. People didn't fight to, people didn't fight to. They didn't had a chance to fight against this corrupted, extractive political system,
Mhm.
political and economic system. The freedom that we got in 1948, it just came through because of the global order was changing from British
Right.
Empire to the America after the Second World War, the critical juncture. Since we didn't fight, we didn't really had we didn't really realize what is our power. We didn't really know the value of democracy.
Right.
But then we were ushered into the democratic system, but we were controlled by some sort of elite. The politics was belonged to them.
Right.
People were still, they were still in that extracting economic system. And I realized there's a lot of clientelism or crony capitalism in that the fast system that
Mm.
we had, because of people never wanted to fight against the rulers because they were scared, they were fearful, they never realized what is their strength.
Right.
So we wanted a struggle to go through, then the people will change. So I was dreaming of this, and even if you look at my past Facebook content, I have written about the struggle even in 2020. 2020 to 2021, we continue to talk about the struggle. We created a lot of videos. So in 2022, we realized a year earlier the economy is going to crash because of Gotabe's actions. I have even done a video saying we are going to be bankrupted. And then I wrote ideas about how to do this struggle in a non-violent manner, even in August 2021. So then I wanted a program to, I wanted to train people how to struggle non-violently. Because if you look at past century in Sri Lanka, we have tried to resolve our problems violently. We had a 30 years war, 3 ethnic conflicts, and two communist uprisings in 71 and 89. All were armed struggles. And even we had East attack in 1990. So all were violent actions. People are used to resolve their problems through violence. Even if you wait without doing anything until the economic crash in 2022, then they are again going to they are used to the violent means of resolving crisis. So I thought, okay, so before the thing comes, we need to create some sort of an ideology of and non-violence ideas. Then I created this model, a non-violent, peaceful uprising. So we need to train people. So we created another program called Small Acts of Resistance. So you have displeasure against the government, so you have to show it individually. So then they started following, few people started following, then it started growing. Then it's like kind of, I would say it's a deconditioning for fear. So you are fearful about the government, it's 2/3 majority. Gotabaya is very well backed by the military, and he has a past military history as well after winning the war and all that. People are scared to Rajapakshas. So we wanted some sort of deconditioning. And we created a Small Acts of Resistance program. That was a success. When we saw one person, another person will come and join. The two become three. The three become a group, and then the small pockets of protest started around Colombo. Then when the economy hits its crisis mode in late March, the struggle was ready. The model was ready. Non-violent, peaceful, go home, go to hashtag.
So you had created the environment.
Correct. That was our pre-Aragarela role. So that's why I told you the pre-Aragarela period. We created that ideology, the model, the framework. The people, whenever they wanted to come out, when they come out of their houses, the framework was ready. They just had to enter. There was a target given. There was a time given. Go home, go to 2022.
So the people's power was definitely realized during the Aragalaya. Are you happy with where we are now post Aragalaya?
I'm happy about a few things. I'm unhappy about a few things. But I'm happy is we managed to break the system finally.
Sure.
Right? So it was there for 75 years. I think that system is gone. You can't bring it back. Whatever the thing you do, we have evolved from that stage. It won't come back. Right? So the system is gone. And people have rejected, they have forgotten their all previous loyalties and everything. They have given up that. They want to change. They are looking for a new place to come and join. The second objective of Aragalaya was to stabilize the economy. I think during last administration, Ranil's administration, the economy was stabilized. That the certificate is already given by the World Bank. They say economy is stabilized. In this year, we are expecting 4.4% of economic growth. That's a remarkable achievement compared to other countries who went through similar crises. A remarkable achievement. It is not very well accepted in local setup because of political reasons, but internationally it's very well regarded. So we have a stable economy now. So that is our second objective. I am very happy because we achieved it without much damage. What I'm unhappy is who got the power after the Aragalaya. Because I really think that's where we went wrong. I mean, for last 75 years, the Sri Lankan citizens voted the existing politicians. They didn't come to power by force. We have voted everyone. So citizens have a 50% responsibility, I would say.
All right. So now when we speak about the Aragalaya, I actually remember that there were rumors that you had worked for a powerful politician's agenda. Is this true?
No, that was the anti-campaign which came against me because I rose to some prominence, as you said, during Aragalaya. And
So would
whenever
you say
someone
it's a
is,
mudslinging campaign?
yes, it's an anti-campaign, mudslinging campaigns. Then you can, they will label you as someone's arm and someone's partner, and then you can sideline that person. So that's what happened, and yeah, that's how it is.
So moving on to my next question, Pathum. Now, you're contesting the general elections. If you are elected to parliament, what would you wish to accomplish? What are your policies, and what would you want to change?
Well, I came to politics with a clear ambition of building this nation. So that is my prime goal. So I am moving towards that. By looking at how the things are moving now, the current government, I don't really have a good feeling about it. I don't really have a good feeling. I try to stop them. I try to explain to people this is not going to work. But unfortunately, people didn't have any other good option. So we could not create that option because of that mudslinging campaign, as you mentioned earlier. And I think, that was a failure of the Aragalaya. That's what I told you. There are things that I don't like, or I'm unhappy about Aragalaya. So I don't really like the leftists taking the power, because I really think that's a bad idea. It's not the answer to the current crisis. We really need reforms which are market oriented, which are global oriented. But the current government, I don't really think, with their value systems and beliefs and their literature and knowledge, everything, they can pull this up. So that's why I have a bad feeling. I already can see things moving in wrong direction, and they are taking loans much bigger than Ranil Wickremesinghe. They have approved some loans from ADB. They are already asking some other loans, and they are even in the local markets. The amount of loans that they are taking has gone up, and so I don't really think they are going in the right direction. But it's too early to say. But I really have a bad feeling about it. So I need to be in the parliament. I need to, before the next crisis hit, I need to prepare the country like I did last time. I need to prepare the nation. I need to find solutions. I need to keep people inspired, so we can pull these up again. And then only we can, move forward with all the new reforms, and probably restructuring and all that. That's what I believe that I will be doing in parliament. And I think I need to sit in the opposition. I'm not going to join the current government, so I'm going to sit in opposition and get some job experience as well. But I haven't been to the parliament yet, and I need to work out my way through the system to get into the next level, so I can drive the country in the right direction.
All right. Now, we did speak about the current ruling party. Do you think the NPP will end corruption as they promised? Because that was a key demand of the Aragalaya.
If you look at India, had a similar crisis in 1991, and they brought all the market reforms. The Manmohan Singh did a beautiful job, and India is almost a superpower now. It's a superpower, right? It's a very fast growing superpower. If you look at the corruption index of India, it's 91. 91. So they have not ended corruption there. If you look at Singapore, Singapore has it's very close to non-corruption, but you can say they have eliminated, but they are number 5 in the corruption index. So I'm a Buddhist, we have this, always we say, Adinna Dana Veramana Sikkapadan Samadhiyami. So I'm not going to steal anything from other people. Why it is in there? Because by human nature, human people are like that. So you can't really say you can't have zero corruption. There will be some corruption, but you have to limit it. To do that, you should have some form of program or some solutions that you are going to implement in the system.
Right.
But looking at what the NPP has said so far, they have not mentioned any of those, other than they said when we come there will be no corruption. When we come there will be no corruption. But how they are going to do it? How they are going to limit it? They have not described it.
Okay, so what is your solution to end corruption?
Okay,
or to eradicate it, at least to a great extent?
Correct. Okay, it will take time, number one.
Mhm.
It won't happen just because I come to power. All
Sure.
right. It needs a careful workout and arrangements. All right. First one, I will tell you what I'm suggesting as a politician. We should go for a small government.
Mhm.
When the government is big, you can't really control everything. The corruption is big as well. When you have a small government, the amount of corruption get less as well.
Mhm.
The number two, to manage the government budget, we need to rationalize the civil service. That means we need to cut down the civil service numbers. We always say we have 1.5 civil servants, but we need to bring it down to at least half.
Mhm.
So by removing half of the civil servants, you are still, that's a number two. With the other reforms, this will happen automatically. Third one, you need to bring the transparency and digitalization into government. I would say everything should be digitalized. Then you
Right.
need to have a good transparent system, and the audit options will be there as well. So the digitalization, transparency, and auditing. The other option is you need to strengthen the rule of law. Without strengthening the rule of law, nothing is going to go along this anti-corruption pathway. Having a good, efficient legal system, you need a lot of investment and timing. You need to inject a lot of resources into the legal system. If you go to Japan or Singapore, you will see multiple cameras and everything is monitored. The financial system is monitored. It's already digitalized. Everything is monitored, and the public administration system is updated to the maximum possible level, so someone cannot go through any holes in the system. Can't find loopholes in the system. You need to keep closing all the
So it's more
loopholes.
transparent.
Then make it more transparent. So this will take some time, at minimum of 5 years, to get to some level. And to do all that, people should choose clean politicians.
All right. Now, ending corruption is crucial. However, managing the economy of Sri Lanka, which is fragile, is also equally important. As a politician, what new ideas do you have to strengthen the economy or to increase revenue, state revenue?
I can seriously say there are 4 things that I'm going to do.
Sure.
So we need to move in with the world. So there's something called geopolitics we need to manage. And there's something called globalization, that we need to link up with the world. And we need to create a competitive environment where the local market is very well open into the globe, and we are competing with the international market. Then only you will create global players who can create wealth, who can absorb more wealth from the international economy, right? So we need an economy which is much more liberated to goods as well as finances. So the money should be able to, the capital and the profit should be able to flow freely without much barriers. The trade barrier should be lowered as much as possible.
Especially because Sri Lanka is placed in a strategic location.
Exactly. Geologically, we are in a very nice place.
Right.
Very nice place, just next to the biggest sea trade route and next to the growing superpower India. We have advantage position. We have, if you consider economic zone, there are 7 economic zones around us, and 4 big continents around us. So we are in a nice place. We are in a nice place geologically, and geopolitically we are a highly contested nation. The India, the China, the US, Russia, everybody is looking at this small nation because we are just next to the Indian Ocean, and we have all that advantage, but we need to properly open and liberate all the trade and fearlessly face this. We have this narrative for very long in the last system. We are very fearful of the West. We are very fearful of the international trade. We are very fearful of India. And we are very fearful of America and all that. We need to forget all that. We need to bravely open and compete with them. Then only we can generate wealth. So that is about creating wealth. Then to do that, you need to model your domestic economy in a way to be able to compete with the world. Currently, it's mostly inspired from this leftist era economic model. So you had a closed economy, you have closed boundaries, then you have you have some safe zone to conduct inside the country. So whenever someone opens the door, you can't compete with the world. So your business will be lost.
Too many bureaucracies.
Correct. All these things need to be corrected if we really want a developed nation. So you need globalization, you need liberalization, you need private sector So that's why I encourage privatization, and you need privatization and you need digitalization. These are the four things that I always talk about after the first three.
So, Pathum, you just said that, in terms of increasing revenue, that you have a standard answer. So, I think one of the ways you can really bring in revenue, I mean, to broaden the tax, the revenue you get is by claiming from those big businesses which owe billions,
Mhm.
in taxes.
Mhm.
What are your views on that? And do you think you see any change in the near future where these big businesses which owe billions of rupees to the government will be held accountable?
Okay, that is another created, fabricated story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, of course there are loopholes in the tax system,
Right.
right? Like any other public administrative department, ministry, even the Inland Revenue Authority has its own problems, and we don't have efficient legal system. So all these things are intertwined.
Right.
But as these people say, they are only the IRD is only saying there's about 900 billion rupees should be, they some people are owing to the IRD, to the
Mm-hmm.
government.
Okay.
If you take our budget deficit, so the government only get about, let's say, 3,000 billion in rough terms, but we are spending about 7.
Okay.
But you try and acquire this 900 tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
you have it, you still have only 3,900 billions.
Right.
You have a big budget deficit to cover.
Mm.
And the next year you don't have this 900 now. See, you
Mm.
next year you don't have it
Okay.
because you have taken it. It's not really a solution because there's a legal process already going on. It will take multiple years. That
Right.
Aloysius went to jail
Mm-hmm.
last month ago, 1 month
Mm.
ago. The case was filed in 2016.
Right.
So it took 7 years.
Mm. So, would you say it's that the laws need to be reformed so that it can be expedited?
Yeah, correct. So that's why I told you we need to bring transparency, digitalization. We need to, minimize the black economy,
Mm-hmm.
bring everything into the white part, into a good system. So everything should be able to the monitor. All the bank accounts should be able
Right.
to monitor. The monitoring systems will come up, and auditings will come up. All these. That's why I told you the public administration system and the rule of law need to be bring up very quickly. Otherwise, you won't have a good tax collecting system.
You identify as a green politician, and now climate change is an important topic and it's being spoken about a lot globally. What measures do you think Sri Lanka should take in terms of uh, dealing with climate change?
This is the first time in an interview someone is questioning me about climate change. I'm very glad about it. I told you I was planting a forest, and I have planted 70,000 trees since 2016.
Mhm.
That's where I begin my political journey. So I was trying to talk about this climate change to schools, the students, then communities. I was trying to, bring this up in social media and even went to some couple of TV programs. But still today in 2024, there's a flooding at least twice a year now, and few people die all the time. There'll be some landslides and some droughts. All these extreme climatic actions is taking place. We are in a huge disadvantage. We are not prepared. Still today, no one is talking about climate change.
Mhm.
They just say, okay, there's a flood. This how many people are died, and there's somebody is doing some welfare thing, giving food, and those people will come in media and social media and get appraised, and some even win elections. But no one is talking about climate change.
Mm.
All right. Since let's say we live in Colombo now, right? You live in Colombo. What are the big problems in Colombo today? So there are one major concern is all the roads get flooded whenever there's a small rain. So we have to start from creating bigger drains. So this problem will go into that level. We need to remodel our city planning
Mm.
and flooding control. We call climate adaptation actions. There's a lot of things to be done. It's not just energy transition. Energy transition is one thing that I have spoken a lot regarding the climate change, and that is happening to a certain degree until this government change. there are a lot of solar companies in Sri Lanka, about 400, and they were doing a very beautiful job. But now they say the business is less because probably after the political change, the people are expecting something else. And there should be energy transition so we can control the climate change. The other thing is we need a lot of climate actions to rearrange our cities and living homes, our habits, because we need to adapt to the new climate because the climate has changed. It's going to challenge you every day. Even someone who's living close to the Kalani River, which is just next to Colombo, right? And there'll be flooding very frequently. In Sri Lanka, every year there'll be 2 to 3 times flooding with many lives lost and many economic losses. So we need to face it. We need to know what to do. We need to arrange the economy to face it. We need to rearrange our lives to face it. We need this discussion, which is not happening.
All right, so you're saying measures should be taken to adapt to climate change.
Yes, we need to adapt. We need actions to prevent the further progression. That is why the energy transition is important.
So finally, Pathum, I would like you to tell our audience, you're contesting the general elections this time around from the Colombo district. Why should people vote for you?
All right. They trust me. They trusted me once in pre-Aragare period. So they trusted me. So we brought up a nice Aragare, which was non-violent, peaceful, and we achieved the target in 100 days. The Rajapaksas are gone. Rajapaksas are gone. They are not even contesting the election. Right? The system was broken sufficiently enough for the new leaders can emerge.
Right.
All right? The ground is ready. The ground is ready. So the next thing is you need to build the next system. You say you don't want 225, okay, you create new 225, right? So you don't like the old system, you have to create the new system. So you need people who can lead the nation to create the new system, right? So now we have to do it because the economy is stabilized for last 2 years. Now we have a stable economy. Now we have every possible good reason to optimistically think that there will be a new good system. A system change is, we can change the old system. You can create a bad new system. That has happened in certain other countries. Some countries has fallen into terrorism. Some are still in civil wars.
Yeah, so if I may interrupt you, it's not just about putting new faces or new people, but about putting those who can actually bring about good change.
Exactly. I'm not asking blindly to vote for all the new guys.
Right.
So they should look at these new faces and see who are the achievers, what these people have achieved in their life. Have they successfully at least run a business? They should know how to run a business at least. They have organized something successfully other than just staying in politics or scolding other politicians in the stages, right? Not organizing protests. They should not do something destructive, but something creative. So we need a set of, usually what happened theoretically, usually what happened after any struggle or insurrection, the next leader will consolidate power. That leader will destroy everything else. That's what Ranil did. He crushed the Aragalaya, he put me in jail and some other people. He crushed all the next generation of leaders. He consolidated power. Then only he can stabilize the economy. He did that. We don't like it, but he did that. The next is you need a group of creative leaders. Now you need to create the system, the new one. So we need some achievers who has done something in their life, not just talk. So look at into their past, see what they have done, choose wisely. Otherwise, you are going to create another bad system which will keep going on for another 70 years.
All right. Thank you for this conversation. I wish you all the best. And before we end this conversation, a personal message. This country and its political system so far, it's dominated by those who have the capacity to fund election campaigns, those who come from political families, nepotism. So I think this people demand a system change and they want a new system, a better system in place. And just like Pathum said, I think it's not just about having new faces, but about having new faces who you believe can bring about real change. So thank you everyone for watching. If you like this program, comment, subscribe, and share with everyone who you think should watch this. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and take care.